They say two things in life should never let you down: your best friend and your outboard engine. Today we're counting down 15 American boat engines that don't just last a few summers, they last a lifetime. First, we'll tiptoe through the tiny but mighty engines, and by the end, you'll meet the monsters that sound like they're ready to pull a battleship. But here's the kicker. Some of the most legendary engines aren't the biggest, loudest, or flashiest. In fact, a few of them are so small, you might wonder if they run on coffee instead of gasoline. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which engines will outlast your boat, and maybe even your patience. Don't let the small size fool you. The Mercury 3.5 horsepower four-stroke is one of the toughest little engines you can bolt onto a transom. Designed for dinghies, tenders, inflatables, and small skiffs, this motor is all about simplicity and reliability. Weighing just under 40 pounds, it's light enough for almost anyone to carry, making it the go-to choice for backup motors or for those spontaneous weekend trips to hidden coves. Its air-cooled design means fewer moving parts to worry about, and the maintenance checklist is shorter than a grocery list. Just regular oil changes, a spark plug here and there, and basic storage care. That's it. What really sets the Mercury 3.5 apart is its forgiving nature. Forget to service it before winter. Left it sitting a little too long, chances are it'll forgive you and still fire up with just a few pulls. Kind of like that one low-maintenance friend everyone has. Always ready, never complaining, and somehow making it all look effortless. For sheer reliability in a tiny package, this one's hard to beat. If you ever stumble upon a Johnson 6-horsepower Seahorse at a marina swap meet or in someone's garage, don't walk away, run toward it. Originally built during the golden era of American outboards, the Seahorse earned a reputation for being virtually indestructible. It was simple, strong, and wildly popular with small boat owners who needed reliability over anything else. At around 60 pounds, it's heavier than today's micro engines, but that weight bought you bulletproof gears, a no-nonsense carburetor, and an engine that could take on brutal saltwater conditions with just a quick rinse afterward. Parts are still available today, and servicing one is as straightforward as changing a bicycle tire, which explains why so many of these motors are still humming along 30, 40, even 50 years later. If you like your outboards the way some folks like their trucks, tough, classic, and without unnecessary technology, the Seahorse delivers. It's the kind of engine that doesn't care if you forgot to baby it. It's still going to get you back to shore. If you're loving this journey through America's most reliable outboards, smash that subscribe button. It helps us bring you more no-nonsense lists like this one. And trust me, the best engines are still to come. When it comes to dependable small outboards, the Evinrude 9.9 horsepower four-stroke deserves its spot in the Hall of Fame. Designed for small boats, inflatables, and tender duty, this little powerhouse gained a strong following among anglers and recreational boaters who needed something simple, quiet, and reliable. The 9.9 HP four-stroke is known for easy starting, usually on the first or second pull, and offers whisper-quiet operation that's perfect for sneaking up on fish or just enjoying a peaceful cruise. With impressive fuel efficiency, it barely sips gas, making it an ideal choice for long days on the water without worrying about refueling. Maintenance is refreshingly easy. Basic oil changes, spark plug swaps, and the occasional impeller check. Owners often joke that taking care of this motor feels less like maintaining an engine and more like keeping a houseplant alive. A little attention now and then, and it just thrives. It's not flashy, it's not overcomplicated, and it's certainly not trying to be anything other than what it is: a loyal, hard-working companion you can trust season after season. If you're looking for an engine that doesn't complain no matter how you treat it, the Mercury 8 horsepower four-stroke should be near the top of your list. Designed for small boats, inflatables, and tenders, it strikes the perfect balance between portability and power. Weighing around 84 pounds, it's manageable for 2 people to lift and mount, yet strong enough to push a lightweight skiff with confidence. The 8 HP four-stroke is often praised for its bulletproof reliability. Owners have reported it surviving years of heavy use, accidental drops, and even the occasional oops, forgot the oil change moments without missing a beat. Fuel efficiency is excellent, with a gentle pull at the fuel tank even after long hours trolling or cruising. Starting is smooth, and it's known for its quiet operation, making it a favorite among anglers who value stealth. Think of the Mercury 8 HP as the work boot of outboards. Tough, practical, and surprisingly comfortable to rely on. It won't win any speed races, but when it comes to getting you home every time, it's a champion. The Evinrude 55 horsepower is the mechanical equivalent of a trusted old pickup truck. Simple, rugged, and practically unbreakable when properly cared for. Designed during an era when engines prioritized durability over digital gadgets, the 55 HP model became a favorite among fishermen, small workboat owners, and weekend explorers who needed something they could count on, without an engineering degree to fix it. At just the right size for mid-sized aluminium boats and lightweight fiberglass hulls, the Evinrude 55 strikes a perfect balance. It's powerful enough to get you across the bay without drama, but light enough to remain manageable at the dock or during trailering. Maintenance is about as straightforward as it gets. Clean the carburetor, keep fresh fuel running through it, and swap the spark plugs once in a while. Owners often joke that if you can operate a coffee maker, you can keep this engine running for decades. No computers, no fancy electronics, just pure mechanical reliability. In a world where engines sometimes seem smarter than their owners, the Evinrude 55 reminds us that simple is still beautiful. The Johnson 25 horsepower two-stroke is a true workhorse. Tough, simple, and always ready to punch above its weight. Built for small to mid-sized boats, this engine became the backbone of countless fishing camps, remote lodges, and hard-working families who needed a motor that wouldn't leave them stranded. The 25 HP two-stroke is about as uncomplicated as an engine gets. It uses a carburetor-fed two-stroke system that, when maintained even moderately well, can survive decades of service. It's not the fanciest nor the fastest, but it gets the job done. Kind of like that dependable old toolbox that never lets you down. Owners love it for its easy starting, solid mid-range torque, and remarkable tolerance for rough use. Yes, it will smoke a little at startup. It's a two-stroke after all, but once it's warmed up, it runs like a champion. Plus, with its lightweight frame, it's easy to pull up on shorelines, docks, or trailers without feeling like you've just finished a workout. In short, it's the engine you hand down, not the one you replace. The Mercury 40 horsepower four-stroke is often called the sweet spot of outboards. Not too big, not too small, but just right for a wide range of boats and boating styles. Whether you're running a center console, a john boat, or a small pontoon, the 40 HP delivers smooth, quiet, and remarkably reliable performance that has made it a favorite among recreational boaters and pros alike. It features electronic fuel injection, EFI for easy starts in any weather, plus excellent throttle response that makes navigating tricky waters a breeze. Owners love the minimal maintenance demands, just basic oil changes, impeller swaps, and the occasional fuel filter refresh. It's the kind of engine that doesn't nag you for attention, but rewards you when you give it a little love. And while it's known for efficiency, don't be fooled. This 40 HP has enough low-end grunt to haul a skier, pull a loaded crab trap, or zip across the bay with surprising enthusiasm. In short, it's like having a personal butler for your boat. Always ready, always smooth, and rarely asking for anything in return. When boaters talk about legendary engines, the Johnson 70 HP outboard almost always enters the conversation, and for good reason. Designed in an era when reliability wasn't just a selling point but a survival skill, the 70 HP delivered bulletproof performance across fishing boats, base skiffs, and small offshore rigs. This engine is famous for its near indestructibility. Saltwater, freshwater, Heavy loads, neglected maintenance, the Johnson 70 just shrugged and kept running. It features a simple carbureted two-stroke design that's easy to work on with basic tools, a major reason why so many mechanics and seasoned boaters still trust these motors decades after they left the factory. Sure, it's not whisper quiet like modern four-strokes, and it does enjoy its two-stroke oil a little more than your wallet might prefer, but when it comes to sheer, stubborn longevity, few outboards match the reputation of the Johnson 70. In fact, it's not uncommon to find these motors still firing up on the first or second pull, sometimes even after sitting neglected for years. Tough, simple, classic, everything a true boating legend should be. The Evinrude 90 horsepower V4 is pure classic American muscle, just in outboard form. Built during a time when boats were heavier and horsepower had to be dependable, this V4 engine became the workhorse for everything from bass boats to offshore fishing rigs. At its core, the 90 HP V4 offers simple, robust two-stroke technology. No complicated electronics, no endless warning lights, just good old-fashioned torque and reliability. It's the kind of motor that once warmed up, runs like it's got something to prove every time you hit the throttle. Owners often brag about their 90 HP V4 still firing up after 20, 30, even 40 years of use, with nothing more than regular spark plug changes, carb cleanings, and a little TLC here and there. Yes, it's a little thirstier on fuel than today's engines, and yes, it's louder, but that low growl is just part of the charm. The Evinrude 90 HP V4 isn't about fancy gadgets, it's about getting you to the fish, the island, or the dock, no matter what the day throws at you. When Mercury set out to build the 150 horsepower four-stroke, they weren't just aiming for good, they wanted a motor that could take serious abuse and still ask for more. And by all accounts, they nailed it. The Mercury 150 HP four-stroke is widely respected for its rugged simplicity, outstanding fuel efficiency, and low maintenance needs. It's built with a large 3-liter displacement block, much bigger than you'd expect at this horsepower level, which means it delivers tremendous low-end torque without stressing the engine at higher RPMs. That's a recipe for longevity, and it's why many of these motors are still running strong well past the 2,000-hour mark. Maintenance is straightforward, costs are reasonable, and owners consistently rave about how forgiving it is, even if they miss a service interval. Not that we recommend that, of course. It's quiet at idle, strong under load, and built with enough internal strength to survive tough commercial use, not just lazy weekend cruises. In short, if you want a motor that treats you better the longer you own it, the Mercury 150 HP is the one to beat. Now, the engines that are about to come. They didn't just survive, they rewrote the rulebook on what reliable even means. The Johnson 150 horsepower Fast Strike wasn't just built for fishermen, it was built for the ones who live to fish. Designed during the high-performance boom of the 1990s, the Fast Strike series focused on delivering powerful hole shots, impressive mid-range punch, and the kind of durability that could handle 12-hour tournament days without blinking. Its secret? A strong V6 two-stroke design that favors brute strength over complicated systems. No fragile electronics, no finicky sensors, just old-school engineering that works. Many owners still run their Fast Strikes today, boasting 2,000+ hours of service with basic maintenance routines. Fresh plugs, clean carbs, and good fuel. Nothing fancy, just mechanical muscle. It's also a favorite for DIY boaters because repairs are straightforward, with plenty of parts still available. Sure, it drinks a little more gas than modern engines, but think of it as an engine with a big heart and a slightly bigger appetite. If you need an outboard that's tough enough for tournaments, yet simple enough for weekend warriors, the Johnson 150 HP Fast Strike is still a serious contender. The Mercury 200 horsepower Optimax is the outboard that truly earned its stripes out on the water, especially in the hands of serious anglers and offshore adventurers. Introduced with Mercury's direct fuel injection, DFI technology, the Optimax blended strong, punchy performance with surprising fuel efficiency, something that was almost unheard of in its early days. This engine is known for its tough, almost stubborn durability. Push it hard all day, no problem. Slam through rough chop at full throttle, it'll just growl and keep going. It offers an incredibly strong mid-range, making it ideal for heavy bay boats, saltwater fishing rigs, and bigger bass boats that need serious muscle without sacrificing range. Maintenance on the Optimax is critical. It rewards those who take care of it, but when maintained properly, it's not unusual to see Optimaxes running strong after 2,500 hours or more. And while it's not the quietest engine on this list, when you hear that familiar Optimax roar, you know serious work, or serious fishing, is about to happen. It's built for those who prefer their engines a little rough around the edges, and a lot tough where it counts. Which of these legendary outboards so far would you trust to take you 50 miles offshore? Tell us in the comments. We love hearing your stories, and it helps this community of hardcore boaters grow. The Evinrude E-Tech G2225HP isn't just another powerful outboard, it's a technological statement. When Evinrude launched the G2 series, they didn't just tweak a few features, they reinvented what a two-stroke engine could be, blending raw torque with smarter oiling, lower emissions, and futuristic styling. The 225 horsepower model sits right in the sweet spot, enough punch to power heavy offshore boats and tournament-level bass rigs, but with surprisingly refined manners. Thanks to its direct injection system, the G2 offers instant throttle response, crazy fuel efficiency for a big engine, and shockingly low emissions, making it as kind to your wallet as it is to the environment. Well, almost. It's also famous for its minimal scheduled maintenance. With features like auto winterization and fewer moving parts than a comparable four-stroke, G2 owners often brag about how little time they spend turning wrenches. Some have even joked that the E-Tech G2 runs so cleanly, you'd think it gets a haircut and shaves itself. In short, massive torque, modern design, and legendary Evinrude toughness, a future classic in every sense. Before superchargers became the buzzword in the Verado lineup, the naturally aspirated Mercury 250 horsepower Verado earned a loyal following for one simple reason. It just worked, and kept working. Built with a large displacement 6-cylinder block, this Verado delivered smooth, consistent power across the rev range without stressing itself out. Owners loved it because it didn't demand much. Regular oil changes, proper fuel treatment, and occasional gear loop swaps kept it happy for thousands of hours. And speaking of hours, it's not unusual to hear of these engines logging 3,000 plus hours before even hinting at the need for a rebuild. It's whisper quiet at idle, strong in the mid-range, and robust enough to confidently push big offshore center consoles, bay boats, and performance hulls. Plus, it's built tough. This engine wasn't designed for pampered yachts. It was meant to be run hard and trusted daily. If outboards were judged like heavyweight fighters, the 250 HP naturally aspirated Verado would be the quiet, relentless champion. Steady, strong, and built to go the distance. When you think of a true marine workhorse, one that doesn't just perform but absolutely dominates, the Mercury 350 horsepower Verado stands at the top of the list. Built for offshore warriors, big center consoles, and serious commercial operators, this beast was designed not just for speed, but for survival. With its massive 4.6-liter V8 platform, the 350 HP Verado delivers silky smooth low-end torque, effortless cruising speeds, and astonishing fuel efficiency for its size. Owners rave about its durability. Reports of 4,000 plus trouble-free hours are not rare, as long as routine maintenance is respected. And for such a big motor, it's surprisingly quiet, letting you enjoy the roar of the ocean instead of your engine. Despite its heavyweight performance, the 350 HP Verado doesn't demand high maintenance rituals. Oil, filters, and good fuel. That's all it asks for in return for years of loyal service. It's tough, it's refined, and when properly cared for, it's the kind of engine that might just outlast you. When reliability is non-negotiable, this is the outboard you want at your back. If you had as much fun with this list as we did, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe for more no-nonsense boating guides, and tap that notification bell, because the next adventure is just around the corner. And before you go, drop a comment below. Which outboard would you bet your next fishing trip on? We can't wait to hear your picks.